Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back. This is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts with Rob Markman. Shout out to everybody who watches, who likes, who leaves comments, who subscribes. Let's get these subscriptions up. Let's go. It's gonna be a lot of Clipse talk this week. I'm not gonna lie. If you watch my last video, a lot of videos today too, man. Look, a lot of music talk. I talked about early in the morning. I talked about Wale and his freestyles, and then Apple Music premiered Chains and Whips. So and check me out on the Rap Life review, the podcast with Nadeska, with Low Key, with Eddie, my homegirl EVA. I need such an important voice. That launched today, so please check that out. You know what I mean? It was a good time. Ebro wasn't there though. I don't know. I think Ebro heard I was coming through. He's like, nah, I'm gonna sit this one out, man. Nah, shout out to my guy Ebro. But a lot of Clipse talk, man. So Apple Music premiere Chains and Whips. I did a whole video just breaking down the Kendrick verse. Finally, I didn't want to do it when it leaked. I wanted to do it when it came out officially, and that video is going to be too long. So I said, yo, I want to talk about Pusha and Malice's verse in a whole separate video. So we're here now. So if you're watching, thank you. I also want you to go to Genius tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We are kicking off our Clipse week. I have Pusha and Malice on Verified. They are breaking down their own bars on Chains and Whips. And we have a few other songs. So next week there'll be more songs. Follow me. We got a lot of content for y'all. A lot of bar talk. A lot of just talking about this rap. So as I break down these bars and give my interpretation from Chains and Whips, I'm not gonna give too much away because I want y'all to watch the Genius video. I want y'all to hear it directly from Pusha and Malice about what they meant and what they were saying. But we're gonna get into it. So look, right off the bat, if you didn't know, and Chains and Whips, at least without the Kendrick verse, was teased some time ago because it was played during a Louis Vuitton fashion show where the Clipse walked the show and they played the record. And Pharrell is the creative director of the men's line, I believe, at Louis Vuitton. I think that's his title. Don't get me wrong. And the Clipse recorded this entire album, Let God Sort Them Out, in Paris at Louis Vuitton headquarters. But this song, the vocals for this song had came out some time ago, and it was confirmed by Pusha that his verse was aimed at Jim Jones. Jim, this is all public knowledge. This isn't inside baseball. This has been talked about. I'm not speaking out of school. At Vibe, I think they're the 50 greatest MCs list, and Pusha was on it, and Jim Jones had went around, this was a while back, had questioning why Pusha was on the list. And so Pusha's response came through this verse. Jim also responded with a freestyle over this that he dropped right after. But here it is. We finally have it as official release, Pusha's verse. So when he's speaking, he starts off his verse. You run from the spirit of repossessions. Too much enamel covers your necklace. I buy bitches, you buy sections. You buy watches, I buy collections. So the you in this verse is Jim Jones. You run from the spirit of repossession. What did Jay say? They repo your vehicle. It was all good just a week ago. Nobody wants to go through a repossession. So this is him basically just reading Jim. The difference between them, right? You run from the spirit of repossession. Too much enamel covers your necklace. You got to watch the Genius video. I'm not even going to tell you what Pusha told me about this bar. Please watch the Genius video. It is, dog. He talking this shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Push is talking this shit. I buy bitches, you buy them sections. You buy watches, I buy collections. Misery's fueling your regression. I think it's aggression. This is wrong. Misery's fueling your aggression. Jealousy's turned into obsession. Reality TV is mud wrestling. Some sign checks I know better than. Right? So him getting that Jim for, Jim, the story is that Jim was with Mona Scott and kind of gave the idea or was at the early iterations of what became Love and Hip Hop. It was supposed to be a show for him and Chrissy, and Jim had done reality TV before. So that's what that line is. Reality TV is mud wrestling. Sometimes checks I know better than. Beware my name that there's delicate. You know where you're delicate. Crush you to pieces, I'll hum a breath of it. I'll close your heaven for the hell of it. So, just talking this shit. You think it'd be valor amongst veterans. I'm watching your fame escape relevance. We all in the room, but here's the elephant. You chasing your feature out of your element. So you think they'd be valid amongst veterans? Just at the stages, how many years both of them had in their game that in the game that it wouldn't be like this when you get to this point of veteranship in hip hop. Um, Watching your fame escape relevance, just all this is we all in the room, but here's the elephant: you chasing the feature out of your element. Now, me and Push did not have a conversation. That's not necessarily in the Genius episode. He didn't break down this bar, but if you remember around this time, this is around the time Drake had his show at the Apollo, and he had Dipset come through and they performed with him, and I think this is after he got the pink coat from Cam or around the same time. So I believe, and this is not confirmed, I actually did not have a conversation about this specific line, but my belief is you chasing the feature out of your element is, okay, so why does Jim go at Pusha? Well, at this time, Jim and Drake are kind of hanging out, knowing that Pusha and Drake are enemies, that Drake, so kind of taking up for Drake in a way by questioning like Pusha's place on the list. This is just speculation, I'm telling you right now, but in hopes of what? Of maybe getting a feature, maybe get Drake or somehow bless you that, you know what I'm saying, you're going against, my enemy's enemy or my friend's enemy, you know what I'm saying? Like type of thing, right? So you chasing the feature out of your element. I think Pusha is referencing Drake here. That is just what my common sense tells me. And those lab diamonds under inspection, the question marks block your blessing. There's no tombstone in the desert. I know by now you get the message. So it's just him talking directly at Jim. The lab diamonds, the too much enamel covers your necklace. It's just the differences, right? When you get to a certain level, not all diamonds are, natural stones. Lab diamond, like, it's a price difference. It's a taste difference. It's a quality difference. Pusha is basically saying, hey, I'm luxury. I'm upper echelon. You're that. I'm this, and you're that. Is basically the verse. Ill verse. Man, I love this song though. This song is so hard. Malice comes in. Now, I don't believe Malice's verse. Matter of fact, I could say this. I could say this because I asked Malice this. His verse isn't like directed at Jim. Like Push's thing is Push's thing. So Malice didn't start writing this like, oh, I'm getting at Jim Jones too. Like, I'm not, like, Malice is not here fighting his brother's battles. But I think that part I know. And I think what happens is though, but you pick up on energy. So when you come and write your verse, you write with a similar energy, though you don't have the same target, right? We're making a song, so I'm matching the energy, but here's my perspective. So Malice is saying, so I don't think I know Malice's verse is not a diss verse. It's not intended to be a diss verse. How people take it is something different, but this is not intended. He didn't intend for this to be a diss verse. He says, it don't take much to put two and two. Your lucky streak is now losing you. Money's dried up like a cuticle. You're gasping for air now. It's beautiful. John 10:10, that's my usual. Mamas is falling out in funerals and bombed and blowed. They now viewing you. They never find guns, but the sewers do. My favorite part about this is, we know Malice's story. He left the group, and really dedicated his art and really so much portions of his life to Jesus, and his faith is really important to him. And Malice didn't quit music. He kept making music, but was focused on Jesus and his faith and religion and his place in the world. It was a different type of music from the Clipse, and now he comes back and he's in the Clipse, and I love that he still finds space in a song like this. He's gonna still be Malice. It's not no Malice anymore. He's back to Malice, but he's giving you this verse. He's painting this picture, but he's going to hit you. John 10:10, that's my usual. He's giving you scripture. John 10:10, if I could remember, is the devil comes but to lie, cheat, steal, and kill. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of a warning about playing with the devil. But John 10:10, that's my usual. Mamas is falling out in funerals. I think that was dope. I think it was dope that he and when you listen to this album, there's spaces on this album where Malice is really giving you that, and it's dope. It's super dope. Bubbles was sick. He need medicine. Brought him back to life. Now he dead again. Richard don't make watches for presidents. Just a million trapped between skeletons. Bubbles. If you watch HBO The Wire, classic show. I like this line. I'm not a watch person. I don't have a watch collection yet. But where I read Richard don't make watches for presidents. Richard Mille, the Richard Mille watches. Richard don't make watches for presidents. The presidential, the Rolex is the presidential. So Richard don't make watches for presidents. Just a million trapped between skeletons or behind skeletons. I gotta double check that. I think it's a million trapped behind skeletons. But anyway, the Richard Mille has the skeleton dial. So Richard Mille is known for the skeleton dial. So just wordplay on watches. Richard don't make watches for presidents. Just a million trapped between skeletons. This is the darkest that I've ever been. The diamonds make you taste peppermint. You know, just like the freshness of a diamond, right? The diamonds make you taste peppermint. You ain't thrive in the snow like it's the Revenant and send orders back down to keep shoveling. Like bars, you could see how I took it is The Revenant, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie, and it took place in the snow. But there's another movie called The Revenant that has something to do with the snow as well. With Liam Neeson. So I don't know what she meant. It could be a double, could be something like that. I don't know. But again, bars you could see, you ain't thriving in the snow like it's the Revenant and send orders back down to keep shoveling. Dope verse, man. Malice has so many moments on this project that are ill. This song though, like I fuck with this record, man. And there's a video coming, so we're gonna talk about the video. I'm assuming Kendrick's in the video, but there's a video coming. So when that video's coming, we're gonna have to break it down. But then those are just my thoughts. I think this is a dope record. I think they all did their thing. I think that Kendrick verse is special, and I can't wait to talk to y'all about the rest of the album, the rest of the moments on the album. There's some dope moments, so we'll be having more conversations about it. And hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let's have this talk. Let's talk about this rap. You know what I mean? And watch that Genius. Go to Genius right now. I need you to go to Genius and watch the Chains and Whips breakdown. We worked hard on that. I'm telling you, if you saw at times when my channel was like, damn, Rob ain't post today. Rob ain't. It was editing that. It was getting that together. It was getting all of this content together. That's my job. That's my day job. That's what my check is for. I have a team. They depend on me, so I had to be there for my team. So sometimes you got to put your personal shit to the side because there's work to be done. So if you were wondering where I was at or what I was doing, or to my peoples, if I ain't hit you back, I've been knee deep in getting out this content for y'all on the Genius channel as well. So please check that out. All right, to the next one. Peace.